Pet Life Radio.
This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hello, feline friends. This is Michelle Fern, your host on Cattitude. My guest today, let me say, she has done amazing things for the cat world. She's a badass out there in the streets in New York City doing TNR rescue. She's been featured in the documentary called The Cat Rescuers, which you can see on Hulu and Amazon. And I am just so thrilled to have her on Cattitude. I'm going to introduce you as soon as we get back from this break. We'll be right back. Do you want a cat litter that absorbs odor-causing wetness like a parched desert cactus? Well, Arm & Hammer's got a litter for you. New Absorbex with desert dry minerals. Wetness disappears like a Texas raindrop on a hot tin roof. Odor? Adios! It's lightweight, lightning-fast, odor-absorbing desert dry cat litter. And act fast and get $4 off now at armandhammer.com/bounty. New Absorbex from Arm & Hammer. More power to you.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. It is my honor and I'm just excited beyond excited to have with me today Sassee Walker, TNR rescuer, extraordinaire Wonder Woman out there in the streets of New York City. Welcome, Sassee.
Welcome. Thank you. That was such a cute little intro. I loved it. Hi. How are you?
I've done over 100-something interviews on Cattitude. I've had a lot of different guests, but I've had nobody that does what you do. And you're out there in the streets rescuing. I mean, when I called you earlier to connect on our interview, you're out there getting cats. You're out there trapping.
Yeah, releasing. That's what I was doing, releasing. And then there was a pregnant one. So now that's trapping. Yeah.
So tell me, what kind of cats do you rescue? What are you doing out there? Because there's some people that hear about TNR and know, it means, trap, neuter, release, but it's a phrase that gets thrown around a lot. And not everybody knows, what do you do? If somebody calls you, you go out there. What kind of cats are you rescuing?
So there are cats that most of them are being evicted, I would like to say. Thrown out, and then there's some that's feral. But for the most part, it's, a lot of people don't stay neuter their animals. And then as soon as they spray in a house or something like that, or the female goes into heat, they just toss them out. So it's a lot of cats. Like per block, it's probably anywhere between 15 and 25 easily. And so that's when I'm rescuing, there are a lot of cats that are starving, their skin and bones. The boys are all beat up from fighting. The girls are 5 pounds practically with bellies and giving birth and, lactating moms. It's just everything you can think of. And that's what's out here.
I said New York City, but you're not like in the posh areas, or, where you find a kitten or so.
No, I'm in Brooklyn, East New York, Brownsville, Canarsie. Those are my main 3 areas that I trap and rescue.
How did you get started in this? Because, I had a tiny, tiny, tiny experience of TNR, and I actually had to hire someone because I couldn't trap the female, but I could trap the male. And I just had like a dot of it, but you're out there, and how did it get started?
So where I live is just, I was walking my dog every morning, and, first it was one litter of kittens I rescued from under the car, and then like a month later, there was another one. Then I finally saw who the mother was, and then she was pregnant. And then she dumped one of the litters, and I started feeding one. And then I was like, I just put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, wait, so if she keeps having babies, and then this one I'm feeding, they're going to start having babies. It was becoming depressing to walk the dog. It wasn't fun at all. So I said, I have to do something about it. So I started complaining to everybody, like, what do you do about cats outside? How do you help them? And, this one cat keeps getting pregnant. And then, I met a friend. He knew this female, Raquel, and she was like, take the TNR class. And I Googled it too, and it said you have to trap, neuter, and return, outside cats, stray cats. So I took the class, and then when I took the class, my first project was 28 cats where I live at. Yep.
Wow. And on the documentary, it shows the trap and everything. How do you, this will be a little hard giving people a visual, but hopefully they'll see the documentary, The Cat Rescuers. Explain how you have to set up and go about doing the trap.
That's more for when you are when you do it more. So you start off with the regular traps, the raccoon traps. That's what I did my first project with. I didn't start using a drop trap until like 2013. So 11 and 12, I was using regular traps. So we want the listeners and everyone to know that you can trap easily with the regular trap. You use that, and then the drop trap, someone donated to me, and you set it up. It looks like a little house, and you have a string that you pull it when you want the cat that you want to get. And they normally could go under 2, 3, 4 at a time. And then you throw a blanket over it. You always have to cover them completely up, because if they see any light, they're in panic mode because they're trying to escape. But if you cover them up, they calm down because they feel more secure that no one can get them. So that's the setup. The setup with the drop trap is you hold it up with a string and a stick and you go far away from it so they don't see you. And then when they go under, you pull it and you run and you cover it. And then you take the regular box trap and you set it up to the door. And then the cat will go from the drop trap into the box trap.
And that sounds way easier than it is.
Oh, that is not easy. Let me tell you, I hate using a drop trap. I always trap first. Even now, I always start first with a regular trap. The drop trap is a lot of work because, first of all, you make sure you don't get their tail or anything caught. And then the cats flip out. I've had one boy who dragged me on the trap. I had to lay across the drop trap and beg a stranger to pass me the box trap to the door because he moved me that far away from it. So it could be dangerous. They could scratch you through it. It's not easy at all. And then, of course, your pulse is going crazy and, it's nervous. And then you got to make sure when you set the doors up that they don't get out. Yes, I had one get out. The trap was set up. I don't know, that little bit of room. He was so strong when he bolted, he knocked me, which is now why I sit on top of the trap. He knocked the trap out the way and was able to run out. So it's definitely a lot more work with the drop trap. But you do get the hard-to-get cats. You get say if your whole colony is fixed already and you have one cat that's new, it's easier to use the drop trap because then they'll all go under and then he'll be secure or she'll go under. So that's what it's for. It's for hard-to-get cats and the one cat that's not fixed in the colony.
Yeah, when I had the TNR, when I had to get the female, I actually looked to somebody local to hire someone to cat, and then she was a cat trapper actually, and she used a drop trap. I tried 4 different traps, and she's tiny, and there's no way. And she was a hard one. She had 2 litters before I could trap her, and that was just one little experience right near my home, and it was nothing compared to. And when I think about you doing this daily. And it's just amazing what you do.
Well, it's amazing what you did, too, because she would have just kept having litters. So, I commend anybody who trapped, whether it's 1 cat or 5,000 cats. You did something. You changed this cat life completely, So it's amazing,
I trapped the male twice. I trapped a raccoon, which was probably sickly because I've heard if they're out, they're nocturnal. So if they're out during the day, they're probably sickly. And I couldn't get the female. I had a neighbor who said he was an expert. He couldn't get the female. And that's when I hired someone because I thought it's amazing. People have no idea how fast cats can have new litters. It's almost before they recover from the pregnancy, which they say there's like a 2-month wait. They already have another litter.
Yeah. Yeah. I get a lot of lactating moms that's already pregnant. So they're pregnant and lactating and still nursing already. The more cats, the more litters because, the female doesn't get a break. Even, they force her to go back into, heat because they constantly on her, harassing her. So if it's 2 cats, if it's just 1 boy and 1 girl, then she'll have less litters because it's like he'd chill out and just wait until she goes into heat. But when it's 4 boys and 1 girl, then they forcing her. It's like the lions, the same thing. They force them to go into heat. So yeah, it's crazy. It's a very vicious cycle. I don't understand Mother Nature with it. But then I always say it goes back to the humans because it shouldn't be these many cats outside from jump. So that's humans.
Exactly. And what is it like when you're trapping? Because I know from watching the documentary, and you also had a great interview with Hannah Shaw, Kitten X Lady, who's another amazing person in the world of cat rescue and kitten rescue. What is it like out there trapping when you're dealing with people? Because what is that like? Because I think it can be difficult because people are sometimes not so nice out there.
Right. Yeah, so you're going to get that with anything you do, really. You just have some people that are just, miserable, don't want to understand what you're doing. So, it depends on the person. You get, some people I get, they're very hostile, like, oh, don't put the trap on my property or even in front of my property or leave the cat. And then you get people that are like, oh, yeah, good, this is great what you're doing. So it's just when you get those hostile people, you just, it depends, I could turn it all the way up, I'll explain to them what they're doing. And if they still want to have an attitude, I'm still going to get the cat regardless, it's just sometimes you got to ignore them. You even get to those situations where you have to ignore the person. And then sometimes you just try to just be as nice as you can because you can, you can get into a fist fight. I've had fights. So you can get into it because some people are just miserable. When people are miserable and you're doing something good and their life is not going the way they want it to go, they want to cause misery. So, but now I've learned that you just got to ignore them. It's all about the cat. It's all about the cat. So you just focus on the cat. If you got to come back and wait, until a weird hour in the morning just to avoid the people, then that's just what you have to do. But it's about the cat.
Okay, we're going to take a little break and we're going to be right back.
Looking for a dental treat that does more for your dog? Daily Dose is a 2-in-1 chew that pairs a daily dental scrub with powerful supplements to help with the biggest health concerns facing our dogs. Daily Dose was developed by vets to be simple to use and super effective. Plus, dogs love the taste. Available for joint, skin, heart health, or calming. Daily Dose. Your pet's daily dose of awesome. Visit yourpetsdailydose.com to save $3 on your first bag with promo code PETLIFE. That's yourpetsdailydose.com.
Hey everyone, Michelle Fern here. I have to tell you about Pet Treater. Pet Treater is a gift box for your fur babes that gives you the chance to surprise them with interactive toys, all natural treats, and a whole bunch more. I just got one for Dennis's birthday, but I made sure to get the larger size because I knew Molly and Charlotte would want in on the action too. Let me tell you, it arrived the day before I planned to give it to him. Dennis actually slept next to it the entire time. In the morning, when I went to open it, I noticed all these claw marks on the box. They were trying to break into the goods. What a party once I opened the box for them. They had a blast. Whether you have a really cute kitty or an adorable doggy or maybe some of each roaming your house, you can tailor the box to fit their needs, including any allergies they have or their size. We all need an excuse to spend more quality time with our fur kids. With a subscription starting as low as $15, you and your furry family members will get to unbox some new surprises together, meaning you'll be spending less money, less time shopping, and more time hanging out. And if you're as obsessed with sharing photos of your pets as I am, you can connect with other animal lovers on the Pet Treater site. Okay, now Pet Treater is giving us this great offer. Go to pettreater.com and use the coupon code Cattitude, that's CATTITUDE, and you'll get 50% off the first month of your subscription. That's pettreater.com, PETTREATER.com, and get ready for some great party times with your fur babes.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. We're talking to Sassee Walker. She is a TNR expert in the streets of New York City, and we're chatting about how she traps and, other things related. Have you been able to get, Sassee, other people that help you with things? Because there's not just trapping the cat and the whole list of things. You trap, then you have to bring them to the facility to get spay or neutered. Then they have to recover, usually for a couple days. Then they're released back. Do you do all that yourself, or do you have some people that do other things, or how does that work?
As far as the trapping part, I do all that myself. I trap the cat. I bring them to ASPCA or Toby Project or Faithful Friends or, whoever I have a spot to bring them to. They get spayed or neutered. If it's a female, I normally hold them 3 days. If it's a male, you could release them the next day. I recover them, you feed them, you change the newspaper when they use the bathroom. So that's twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. And you feed them once in the morning, once at night, water, hard food, and wet food. And then you release them, and then they go. The boys I release sooner because they don't get cut. Their testicles get drained, so it's a much simple process, whereas the female get a little incision, so they have stitches. So you want to give them time to, recuperate and recover. And so I do all that part myself. And then the friendly cats, I reach out to different rescue groups and I beg them to take the friendly so they can get them adopted. And in exchange, I offer to trap a cat that they need, or because everybody always needs a trapping project. So it works out well for the most part until I get like 10 friendlies, and then it's like hell because that's to rescue.
I'm not sure if you mentioned this. Do you have people that foster in your community as well that you could reach out to, or do you end up fostering? How many cats do you end up fostering yourself?
Well, that's why I try to get the rescuers to take them, because then normally they're totally ready to be adopted. A lot of these cats are already house cats, so they're already friendly and don't need any work. And then when I get too many, I just got a foster this year. All these years I've been doing it, I never had a foster. I've always begged for fosters. But, it's very, very, very hard to get a foster. So I was lucky with this young girl. She wanted a cat. She wanted to adopt a cat. So I convinced her to foster instead because she never really had too much cat experience anyway. So it was a win-win situation. So she fostered like 3 or 4 cats, and now she's taking a break because she realized how hard it is. It's not like simple. So fosters are very hard to get. So now I don't have a foster again because she was the foster and then she got burnt out really quickly. And so fosters are hard, yeah. I hold them in cages or bathrooms.
Are you fostering now?
Well, I have cats that's in cages, so I guess you could consider it fostering because I'm holding them until someone can take them. So I just gave 2 to a rescue group. They took 2, so I have 3 more that I'm trying to wait to see who's going to take them. So, yeah, I guess you consider it fostering now. That would be me.
Yeah.
But it's hard because I have a lot of cats and they're like dickheads. They don't want no new cat there because they think I'm going to keep them because, it went from 1 to about 8. So they're like, no, we hate them all.
Wait, how many do you have?
8.
8 that are yours?
Yeah, my 8, yes. That's indoors. Outdoors, I have tons. But indoors, yes, I have 8. So forcing it used to be easy when I had 2. When I had 2, it was easy to foster, because it was easy. But then when the more cats I kept, the harder it is for me to let them run free in foster. I have to hold them in cage big, but I have jumbo cages for the ones I have to hold for over a week or 2.
So you have 8. I can understand because it's sometimes hard to bring in a new cat. I've had that situation before too, because they don't always. Eventually, they sort of get along, but I still have 2 sisters. They don't get along, and it's been 4 years. So
yeah,
you just make do and hope they're just hissing a little bit at each other, and that's it. Even with Feel Away, it doesn't always work out so great.
No, it's a war in my house with 3 of them. I have 3 alpha females, and they hate each other, and they like you catch them fighting a lot, and people think they all get along, and I'm like, no. Because my daughters, out of the 8, 2 of them is my daughters, and her 2 don't seem to get along with my alpha. So it's just, and they go at it,
Yeah, I just want to tell my 2 sisters, just behave already, but.
Right.
And one shows her gratitude by leaving number 2s all over the place. But, I need to get Jackson over here. Anyway, I want to ask you this. Have you run into any situations of hoarding? Because I've heard about these on the news and you read articles and you think, how in the world can somebody hoard like 20, 30, 40, 50 cats?
Yeah, I'm helping a hoarder now. We up to maybe 15. A week I take 3 or 4. Yeah, so a hoarder situation is hard. They don't let you in the house. Some of them are feral. So, I've been lucky, that they were, easy for them. I teach them how to trap. They have to trap in their own house. It's crazy. But, yeah, it gets out of hand because they bring them in while they're pregnant, and then they don't do the chin, even though she had 58.
58?
58. Yeah.
Holy, oh my God.
Cats.
And I'm guessing she wasn't in like a huge mansion.
No, she was in a condo.
Oh, 58 in a condo?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. And
we're
she
talking
didn't
New
know
York City, so it's probably not a huge condo or anything, right?
Nope.
I mean, 58,
Nope.
How do you, wow.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And that took like maybe a month and a half, but she was on board. She was, completely drained, and, she lost her family. No one was speaking to her. She was way over her head. And she didn't want no one to help her because, they're embarrassed, because 58 cats, you could imagine poop everywhere, food everywhere, throw up everywhere, piss everywhere, smell, you're dealing with like a really, really crazy situation. So that's why as soon as you bring them in, you have to fix them because it will spiral out of control.
Yeah, I would say that's way out of, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Here's something I want you to share with our listening audience. A lot of people out there, most people, they have a couple of cats. They might feed one or two that are outside and this and that, but they have no idea what it's really like, TNR, and what it's really like for you out in the streets. What is the message you would like to send to everybody for them to really get with what you've seen out in the streets?
Well, the number one message is these cats are suffering. So if you don't do nothing, they are going to continue to suffer. So us as humans, it is part of our nature. We are supposed to take care of the animals. Like that's what our duty is. So don't assume that the cat will be okay. The cat will be okay. The cat will not be okay. You have to make the cat be okay. So that is my number one message. Do something, anything, even if you want to hire someone to do the trapping or something, but do something. Don't just brush it off because it doesn't go away. It just only gets worse. It gets worse.
What is your message to people that just say, well, I just want to put some food out for the cats. That's all I want to do.
Okay, so my thing with feeders is you're the feeder. That makes you responsible. So you have to do something. You cannot just feed and just walk away because you're feeding and keeping them alive to continue to suffer. So it's a cycle, If I'm feeding, then it's my responsibility to get this cat fixed so I can lessen the suffering. You have to do that. So if you feed, that means you have a heart, you care. Because if you didn't care, you wouldn't be feeding. So care in total. Be a complete caregiver and do the right thing and get them fixed. Even if it's one at a time. Get them fixed. It's the best thing you could do for yourself because you think you're going to be feeding 5 forever. You're not. It's going to turn into 15 and 25 quickly. So think about that when you're feeding. Think about that. If I don't do my part and get these cats fixed, I'm going to have way more. And it's not free food. So get with it. Get with it. Do it. Take the class. That's the number one thing I tell everybody when I'm interacting and I meet all these strangers. I always tell them, take the class, whether you do it online or in person. Take that class. Google neighborhood cats. Find out when they have a class. May is a Liar have classes. Everyone have classes. Learn what to do, how to do it, get connected, and get it done. You'll feel better, and then the cat will be definitely better.
What would people look for if they're looking for the class? What's the class called?
It's TNR. It's Trap, Neuter, and Return, TNR. So it's Trap, Neuter, Return. So you would Google TNR classes or you Google neighborhood cats. They always have classes once a month. Google Mayors and Lions. ASPCA will even direct you to neighborhood cats. So once you put in Trap, Neuter, Return or TNR or stray cats outside, it'll tell you. It'll direct you right to it. It's so easy. The computer knows it. The computer knows it.
Okay. And then, Sassee, I'm just, like I said, I'm in awe of you because we've talked a lot about TNR. It's something I'm, strong about adopting rather than shopping and all of that. But you're just such a warrior out in the streets. And you have, how many cats would you say you've rescued and just the number? And then how many pregnancies would you say you've prevented as far as how many unwanted cats? What do you think that number is? So how many have you rescued?
I could not give you a number. It's definitely in the thousands. That I would say. Definitely in the thousands.
In the thousands? I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm in the thousands for sure. This year alone, I'm probably already up until, August? 30 a month, 60, 90. I'm probably up to maybe 400 if I was to look at the paperwork already. I think last year
and we're in September, but it's COVID, so nobody knows. Is it already fall? Is it already? It's like almost Groundhog Day these days. So you've rescued already 400 this year.
Yeah, I would definitely say I'm if I'm not 400, I'm very close.
That means you probably prevented in the hundreds of thousands of unwanted cats.
Yeah. If you break it down like that, my daughter likes to say millions.
Probably millions, yeah, because, I've heard that most cats have a litter of 3. So that litter, if there's chances are there's at least one female, maybe 2. Then they go on. And before you know it, in a year, there could be maybe, 10,000 cats. And then it keeps multiplying from, not getting them spayed and neutered.
That's why if you feed it, you're the direct contact to the cat. So you really need to jump on it because you know your cats and it'd be easy for you to do it. Feeders don't know how important it is and how quick it would be if they get involved and do it versus me just getting random cats when I see them, which is a regular thing for me. It's no feeder. So I'm dealing with, more work where a feeder would be less work. So yeah, I've had female mothers give birth to all female kittens, no boys. So imagine that, it's like, oh my God, this would have been a freaking nightmare. It's just the thought of it, the boys would have had a field that they would have had easily 30 boys over there, easily.
It's the female that I ended up trapping. She was pregnant, which I didn't even realize. This is going on 4 years ago before I hosted Cattitude. She was pregnant, had the babies, and before I could wait for the period to when they said I should bring her in to get fixed, she was pregnant again. It was shocking. And, people don't realize these little kittens, by 2 weeks old, they're wandering around, so they could easily get run over and, injured so many ways.
And a lot of them are sick. I've had a lot of kitten deaths this year, probably more than any other year. A lot of these kittens are born sick, because the mother body is run down now. It's turning into a broken machine, but a body, if you get my drift, litter after litter, she has a very, disruptive system inside of her. So she are giving birth to, a lot of kittens that are sick because she's not well. She's not well. So, so they're dying. People got to think about all that. Then the raccoons, they're hungry. So if they see the kitten left, they going to eat it. It's just so many reasons why you have to prevent it. You have to do your part and really prevent all of this. It's such a suffering. It's suffering every which way you look at it. Nothing but suffering.
Okay, I lied. I have one more question. How do you cope with all the suffering? I mean, just in the kittens I fostered and the ones that I couldn't adopt myself, that I had to make sure they had good homes. That was hard. You're doing this daily with thousands of kittens. How hard is it to see the ones that are, sick and just, that are not going to make it? How hard is that?
Well, it used to be much harder. Now I hate to say this, but it's the truth. It happens so much that I'm becoming immune to it, but I have my moments and, I'll break down and cry and, I cry every time they leave me and go to heaven. But yeah, it bothers me. The kittens bother me more than the adults. They all bother me, but yeah, it's a emotional turmoil. But then I go outside to the store and there goes another cat that needs help. So I don't have time to stay in the morning process because they keeping me really, really busy. Yeah. But sometimes I say I don't want to do this no more. I'm so lonely, because it's like that's all I do. And then I say, I want to have a normal life. I would like to be in a relationship. I would like to do this and that. And then it changes. It's like I only can have 10 minutes of wishing that because it's just so many cats that need help. And it's like it takes up all my time.
Definitely time consuming because you work and then you're getting up like 4 a.m. or crazy hours to go hunt the cats.
Yeah, whatever hour I have to do it, I do it. Whatever got to be done, it has to get done. Yeah. Yeah, because if I don't do it, who's going to do it, And out of all of this TNR, I tell you what is the most depressing, emotional turmoil for me is when I don't get the cat. That kills me. That's like laying in the bed thinking about it, waking up thinking about it. Especially if you knew they were injured or they were sick and you were like the only opportunity and you couldn't get them. That is a crusher. That kills me. That just like I have nightmares about it. I'm mad at myself. I forget all the good I did and I just focus on that one I didn't get. And I'm just like, you need to do better. Why do you even do it? And so it's very emotional. Yes, it's emotional, but it got to get done. It has to get done.
In the documentary, there was one cat. It said it took you a year to get the cat.
Yeah, I forgot her name.
Barada? Something with a B?
Yeah.
I just saw it, but I'm trying to remember myself. There goes my memory.
Yep. That was her. Yep, Baraka. Yeah, so she, and you know what was the really messed up part? It took me a year to get her, and then the feeder, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
To
and
catch
I was
her?
so mad at that feeder. Yeah, the feeder was the reason how I got her in that year. And she knew. She just kept having litter after litter. She was having dead litters. They were coming out dead. Her body was so run down. And when I got her, I had to recover her for like a month.
Wow.
She had the worst URI ever. She had blood in her stool. She had worms. That's why the kittens were coming out dead. Her insides was done. Over. And I was very upset with the feeder. Very upset. I didn't even know it was a feeder. And then I kept saying to my mother, it got to be a feeder, because she's not skin and bone. And yeah, that's why the feeders is so easy for them. The cats know you. They trust you. You can get them done much quicker than versus a stranger, She would run when she see my car. She would run when she see me, But yeah, she's done and she looks so good. She looks amazing.
Well, I know all of this costs a lot, and it's not like you have funding from any place or anybody sponsoring you. What does it cost you? And then how can people get in touch with you so that they can, if they want to donate and to help with your finances? And then we're also, everyone is listening knows we have a page on Pet Life Radio, and this information will be there as well. But how, Sassee, can people get in touch with you?
Well, mostly everybody now with the Instagram, so Sassee_badass_TNR. And on the page, it's a link to PayPal and Venmo. And so that's just how I've been getting a lot of donations. And people donate food, so they'll contact me on Instagram and they'll say, oh, I have food, and they'll meet me at my job, or they'll come to Brooklyn, or I'll meet them or whatever, so food, supplies, different things. So that's the best way to reach me is definitely on Instagram, just Sassee_badass_TNR. Even with questions, I answer a lot of questions. I coach a lot of people all over the world. They go get the trap. I tell everyone the first thing you do, you buy a trap, own a trap. If you see any cats outside, own a trap. It's worth it, because the worst thing in the world is, oh my God, I can't get this cat because I don't have anything to put it in. You have a trap, you can always get the cat. So, and then they started trapping, even a young lady in China. Yeah, it's all over the world. It's amazing. I'm like, wow, this Instagram really got a lot more cats TNR'd.
Global is good. I mean, we're digital, so, global. I've had, listeners from Australia contact me. I mean, it's nice. Amazing what the internet can do as far as for, helping and all that. What does it cost you? So people have an idea of how it's so helpful to get the donations. What does it end up costing you a month, roughly?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. It varies. Last one, I think I spent maybe $800. I had to do 2 dentals. Thank goodness it wasn't where they had to remove all the teeth, and thank goodness the cat didn't have stomatitis and other stuff. So it varies. Some months it's $300-400 is mostly all of them with TNR. If I get a lot of ferals, it's cheaper because I just have to treat them for fleas and deworm them and get their shots. And I release them, but the ones that are friendly, I have to get them snap tests. It's a different process, so it's more money. So I could pay for one cat up to $110, and that's a rescue rate. So yeah, so it varies. So that's why I said every penny helps. It doesn't matter, Some people send me enough. I'm able to do a cat and get everything vetted one time, The cats that cost me are the ones with the injuries, Those are the ones that have to go to the vet, and those bills could run high. Last year, I think 1 month, Richie with the tail, I paid almost $3,000. Richie had to have a tail amputation, and then he had eye. He had to get and I can never pronounce that word, but he had to get his eye removed. It was so much with Richie, and he, that was almost $3,000. I ended up getting a lot of help, but, I still had to spend, from my pocket too, then the tail exploded. He had to go back and get more stitches. It's like, so you never know, you just never know. It could run you really high, and then it could be a decent amount, Thank God I have a job.
But it's expensive.
Yeah. It's never zero.
It has to be a passion project.
Remember, I have to buy food a lot, so this is without food. So, and then I feed so many outside. I think I have 17. That's my direct colonies. And then now with the COVID, I end up taking on more colonies, and then another feeder died on another colony, and that's 11 more. And I trapped all of them. I'm happy because it's like, as soon as I feed you, everybody got to be fixed. That's like the number one rule. So, yeah. So it could cost, it could run. And before Instagram, this was coming out my pocket all the time. Our credit cards was maxed out, everything, So the Instagram has helped a lot. I'm not in debt like I was. I'm slowly getting out of it. So I'm so thankful for it. So thankful.
I know you mentioned this, that there should be a job like this, and there should. And it's not like the animal control people. It's entirely different what you're doing. And there should be a job. You should be making six figures at a job doing this for all you're doing. That's what I think. Yes. If I was in charge, but I'm not.
You're making the world better. You're saving a life. You're making the world better. You're making the streets better. It should be a job because we all live here. How can we ignore the animals and they live here? I don't understand how the city doesn't see that. If there's a rat infestation, they get on that because, it's bothering the people. So you think that it's not the same thing when you have a bunch of unfixed cats running around? So it should be a job. Treat it the same way. Pay somebody to go out and do this. People don't want to do this for free. That's why it's not enough trappers.
And it's expensive. Some people just can't even
afford
it at all. Not like you can, but sometimes they have their own medical stuff, and it's impossible. So again, we're going to have your Instagram on our page on Pet Life Radio, and it's at Sassee_badass_TNR.
Yes.
Sassee, thank you so much for coming on Cattitude and sharing what it's like to be a badass trapper out there in New York City. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me. I am so honored. I feel so special, and I really, really thank you. And thank you for, teaching and giving all this valuable information to your listeners. You are a superhero because you are connecting the animals with the humans and the humans with the animals. So thank you. Thank you for your show. Keep up the great work, and I look forward to more conversations. And if you have any questions or anybody does, feel free to reach out to me. I have no problem sharing any of my expertise. None.
All right. Thank you so much, Sassee.
Thank you. And have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. You and the producers, tell them thank you as well. Have a great, great one. Thank you all. I appreciate you.
That has to be one of my favorite interviews ever. I so admire what Sassee is doing out there. If anybody has ever trapped a cat to be fixed before, a TNR or feral cat out in the community, you have just a tiny glimpse of what it's like for what she does on a regular basis, every day, all the time. It's incredible. So I'm so, honored and grateful that Sassee was on Cattitude. And thank you so much, Sassee, for all you do. I'd like to thank my producer, Mark Winter, for making me and my guests sound amazing. Thanks to my cat crew, some of which I had to trap, and someone who was really difficult. So thank you, Charlotte and Molly and Janice, Jethro, Sammy, and Jazz. And thank you so much to everyone that's listening. And for everyone listening, if you want to help Sassee, and trust me, this is expensive, please go to her Instagram, and it'll also be on the page for this show at PetLifeRadio.com. And her Instagram is at Sassee_badass_TNR. And, thanks for listening. Thanks for all you do to help the cat world. Stay tuned. We're going to have other great shows coming up.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.